PS5 Pro technical presentation. Now I heard about I heard about stuff that's happening with this, and it's not good. I've seen some of the comparisons. Look at that! Ooh, oh, look at that dislike to like ratio. We also switched back to Google, by the way, because Opera GX was bugging out, and every time I'll try to do something, it'll freeze up on me. So we switched back to Google. Uh, but man, that is not like, good, dude. The audio. Okay,
Hi,
let's make it
I'm
safe.
Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience.
Does it though? I I have a take on that. The PS5 upgrade was the worst upgrade of all console upgrades. We barely have any exclusives for PS5s, and the PS5's been out since I think 2019, 2020, something like that, something around there, and we still barely have any exclusives for the PS5s. And they're making the PS5 Pro now. It's the weakest upgrade. I've said this a couple times already on stream. It is the weakest upgrade.
When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the
So it came
table.
out 2020.
8
That's what it
Zen
was.
2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second.
I have personally
PS
not seen 120 FPS on PS5s. I have seen up to 60.
5 has
But
a
that's just me.
powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with
Oh, that's
vast
pretty nice.
panoramas to explore.
But that's a
Ray tracing
PS5.
allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass.
yeah, but you look how
And the
choppy that
realism
gameplay is.
comes
Look at that.
From real allows for dramatic visual
Look
improvements.
how slow.
including
You see it's 30
reflections off of
FPS.
water or glass.
If even
And the
30
realism
FPS, let's
that
be
comes
honest.
From real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game
Yes, that's how
worlds
SSD works, by the way.
and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially
That looks a
unlimited.
lot better, yeah.
You okay? I'm working on it.
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are.
What game is that?
Finally, the
Is that a
DualSense
voice game?
controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands
I don't
what
care
your
about that.
character is experiencing inside.
This
of the
control, which came out on
It's
the PS4,
wonderful
by the
to
way.
see such variety
PS4
and
game.
richness of game
They
experience.
show a PS4 game on the
Creators
PS5
have made
console,
amazing
showing how
use of
good
the
it
hardware
is.
capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are
How about
bigger
better
than being
performance in
supported at
general?
60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players.
No, I go with performance every time.
Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier, and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity,
That's
typically choosing
I don't know who will play on a console when you get a PC. Because you can get 60 FPS on a PC and set the graphics however you want to, if you have power on a PC.
to run at 60 frames per second, mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frames
It looks pretty similar to me. Like the grass details anyways. I don't really see too much of a difference.
rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode,
But it's
players
also
are choosing
recording too,
performance about
but
3/4
I
of
still
the
don't
time.
see any difference.
Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that
But make
divide,
sure we're on the
is one of the
highest
key
quality we
targets
go
for
to.
PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give
Now we
players
see
the
differences
graphics
that
that the
there's
game creators
differences.
aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3.
larger GPU, sorry, advanced ray tracing, AI-driven upscaling. So basically everything that PC has, we had this stuff for years now.
First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The
So what? 6% compute units. I'm guessing about. You probably see a little increase. I don't know about how big it would be. 28% faster RAM. That's nice. But how about more RAM? How about 32 gigs instead of 16?
result is rendering that's up to 45% faster.
It's up to 45% faster.
Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution.
So DLSS, by the way, FSR.
PSSR analyzes the game images
PSSR.
pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective
detail, right?
resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the big three involved, the results can be pretty amazing. With graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a
The game is just good looking regardless, by the way.
Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is there.
Why are we looking at fidelity mode versus PS5 Pro? Is the fidelity mode same thing as PS5 Pro base? Are these both base or what?
For much choppier.
Oh yeah, that's what happens when you
goal of delivering almost.
That's what happens when you have your frame rate capped at 30 FPS instead of 60. That's what happens.
Fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5.
Or he's just uncapped
Another way to
FPS.
compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we
Now
see
this
here
is what I've
is
been
a
seeing a lot of
difference in
stuff
detail.
about.
PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper.
Let's see. You can see through the window, so the graphics will turn up a little bit. So you think reflections, it might be. The wood, you can kind of see with the wood over here, it kind of is a less blurry, more straight. But that is so minimal. I have to go out of my way to look at that, by the way, and see that detail. If I wasn't, I would have never noticed it. Let's see over here. This looks pretty much the same. This looks pretty much the same. That looks the same. Everything else looks the same. Maybe the leaves over here a little bit nicer. A little bit nicer. But literally, I have to go out of my way to notice that. Same thing over here. Leaves maybe a tiny bit nicer. Over here, it kind of looks the same-ish. But yeah, you really have to go out of your way to look at it.
Than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet.
Now this, I also saw this scene.
Distant details are
and this
much
thing,
clearer.
Yeah, a little bit of grass
And
texture.
here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher
This
resolution
looked absolutely
throughout
the
the
same.
scene, including the trees and procedural cars.
Marvel Spider-Man already looked good beforehand, so shocking that you don't see much difference. I did up it one whatever this is. Not 4K, but it's, I think 1440p. No, it's 4K. So I'm on 4K right now. So this is us looking at it on 4K. It probably won't show up on stream. It'll probably look, and it'll look 1080p on stream. So you guys probably won't be able to see this, but it looks a tiny bit nicer. Actually, can you guys see that? I don't know. You guys have to let me know about that one if you can see this or not. But it looks a little bit less blurry, pretty much. But everything looks the same.
Cars. So
it's like turning your graphics to low to medium.
To the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay.
There's a little more sharpness, but I don't know if it's not worth it.
Their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for
This game might look
improvements to
good in
lighting
the
and
beginning.
visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference, allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to
It's a
support
racing
their
game in a
targeted
small
60
map.
frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing
Now,
not
that does
only
look
for better
nice with the
reflections
flight.
and a greater variety of reflective surfaces,
But I can play this on
also
max
for
settings on
further
my PC
realism
with no
in the
problem.
casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply
It's not-
put, it's the
I
most
don't think it's
powerful
worth
console we've ever
$700.
built, and a worthy
And
addition to the PS5.
On top of that, it
Let me
doesn't
wrap
come
this
with
up by
the
giving you a quick
disc
look
drive.
at a number of games running on the new console.
You'll never break a legend. 'Cause they don't know it.
I don't know if I can copyright strike for that. Someone turn it down. So we have Marvel Spider-Man 2, I'm guessing. I don't know, I haven't played it. I played the first one. I really liked the first one. First one's actually really good. Final Fantasy. Horizon. These games already been out though. Last of Us Part 2. Or 1? 2? Yeah, 2 since he's older. Whatever that game is. I think it's Demon Souls. Don't hold me against that, but I think it's Demon Souls. Ratchet Clank. What is that? I don't know. Ghost of Tsushima. These games already been out though. Oh wait, they have the name in the coin. Wait, that's only on some. Never mind. Gran Turismo, Spider-Man, Hogwarts. Games that already been out. Been out since 2023. That's Star Wars. What's that Control? I don't know what these games have. These I don't know what a few of these games are. That was Elden Ring, I believe. Oh yeah. This is what I saw. I saw a picture of this. Dude. $700 for a PS5 Pro. That's more expensive than the PS4 Pro when it came out. That's a lot of money. I think it's yen at the bottom. 120,000 yen, which is $700 pretty much. There's everything. There's like black screen here. Yeah, it's alright, don't cut that out then. What? Alright, well yeah. Thoughts about this? Stupid, by the way. Absolutely stupid. They are selling a console for $700. The PS4 Pro is pulling up now. PS4 price was $400 on launch. Right here. The PS4 was $300. And there's a PS4 Slim that came out a little bit later. It was $300. And it also dropped price too. And it was better than the original PS4. Alright, that's my tab. So yeah, that's it's horrible. That price is too much for it. And it does not come with a disc drive. I heard a lot of people complain about that. I agree with them. They took away the disc drive from it, and they expect people to be happy about it. You're paying more money for it than you did the PS5, and you don't have a disc drive. You have to buy that separately. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.